So, you need RPG music. You need music that you can customize to your liking without having to learn music theory or scales or tempo. What even is a treble clef? I know what it is, but I'm not telling you because I want my channel to be family friendly. If you need an RPG soundtrack for anything, you've accidentally come to the right place, because welcome back to the channel, Brave Adventures. I am Amalgam Ash, and I'm very pleased to share with you Legends of Yesterday, a mix and match soundtrack from Azakaela. Now, I've covered Azakaela's work in the past, quite a while ago, but she has been busy just recently putting together and updating this mix and match soundtrack. Now, before we get any further, I want to say right now, this is free. You can go to the link in the description below and download this today and have songs ready for your project, and you can just use them. And they're CC by 4.0 licensed, which means all you have to do is credit Azakaela in your credits. That's it. But what is a mix and match soundtrack? Well, there are 10 pre-made songs that come with the soundtrack, and they come as their own download. So you have access to those right away. You can immediately put those in your project today. So if you need RPG music, you have it, bam, done. That's it. Wow. Wow. And we'll listen to those tracks right now because they're listenable right here on the itch page. You can listen to them in their entirety if you don't feel like listening to a few seconds of each with me. But then we're going to dive into the other pieces that come with this mix and match soundtrack. This is one of the most revolutionary ideas that I have seen, because it means you don't have to learn all of the different particularities of a music editing tool or music composition. You can take these pre-made loops and melodies, and you can get a free software and simply layer them over each other, paste out whatever you like, and have different songs play that you have made just by dragging and dropping. I'm actually going to give you a demonstration of how to do this and how I would do it and what we end up with. But let's listen to the tracks that come with this OST first. So there are 10 here. The first one is called Intro, and this is all I had to hear to know that I was immediately interested in this pack and its contents. These are all loopable. They're all set up to immediately loop back. I can definitely see this being used before the title screen of your project. This is called Happy Home. Could use this for where the player wakes up for the first map, or the first village when they're up and about. Or even the forest right outside the village. I know I'm like narrowly prototyping how these could be used, but they're just the thoughts that immediately come to my mind. Magic Within. This is one of my favorite tracks on here. It's got a bit of a groove to it. And then it catches you with these pieces that are like off sync. Then there's Foreboding Overture. You can play this song while you're revealing the B plot, telling us what the evil last boss lord is doing, how close they are to fulfilling their plan for world domination. Love those strings. And this one's 2 minutes and 16 seconds long. So there's a lot more to it, but we're going to go to the next one, which is Dark Dungeon. This is a very breezy, low-stakes feeling. To me, it's just you're sneaking into this fortress, and there's a bunch of orcs, but you've got what it takes just to just blow them away, hack them to pieces. We'll test the loopability of this one by toggling on the loop in the player and letting it go to the very end. Oh, it went to the next one. That's not what that meant. Sorry. Loop track, there we go. This one's called Guardian, and this time we're going to use the loop function correctly. I really like Guardian. It's one of my favorites on here. You can use this for a boss, a tense track that leads up to a boss fight. We'll go to the end. We'll let it loop through. That does sound abrupt here on the player. Star Palace is next, but I think your results may vary. I really like Star Palace because it's more ambient than musical, and I really like these pieces that are ambient in my games. Next up is Sweetness. This is one of my favorites on the album. And if I haven't clarified it yet, you have access by downloading this to all of the pieces that make up these songs. You don't have to play them out with a keyboard or anything. They're just pre-recorded instruments or chords and notes rather, or chords of those instruments, and you're able to layer them to create exactly these songs if you want, with minor changes. If you don't like one of the instruments or one of the choices of beat, you can swap them out. And your song doesn't have to sound anything like these 10. You can make your own. Next up is Wild River, which segues very nicely off of Sweetness, I think. You could be telling a story that progresses very, very strongly. All right, and the last one is Against All Odds, which is slow and very padded, very thick. All right, so let us read a little bit about these. Inspired by Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, Legends of Yesterday is a musical asset pack that breathes nostalgia and life into your game projects. Agreed. In this musical asset pack, you'll find the following: a folder containing loops I have written that are royalty-free to use in any of your projects, and folders of loop pieces organized by tempo, key, instrument, and so on that you can arrange in any way you see fit, using any editor and making any modifications you desire. This work is licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution 4.0 international license. This deserves all the attention that it can possibly get. I used to have a software called Cakewalk by Kinetic, or maybe it was called Kinetic by Cakewalk, but either way, it allowed you to take pre-recorded musical measures and search for them by instrument, whatever, and arrange them on this big grid, kind of like a chiptune tracker almost. And it was really just a sequencer, and you could loop whatever you wanted. You could speed the whole thing up. You could add instruments that you recorded in real time and all of that stuff. This is very, very similar to that, but it's just the assets. So we're going to show you what's in the download here, and it's free. But I mean, I would highly encourage you to shout out Azakaela or throw whatever dosh you can. We'll also take a look at Azakaela's Fiverr, where you can commission to have your own original music composed. So pre-made songs.zip is its own download, and that contains the 10 tracks we just listened to in their entirety. So like I said, this is ready for you to use right away, today, right now. The Legends of Yesterday D minor 120 BPM.zip contains all of the loops in D minor, which is a sort of sad, fantastical key. It's basically the flavor of the music, and that's everything that we've just listened to. A couple of them were, I think, in F minor, though, which is a key that's a little bit higher. The 120 BPM is actually the speed at which the music is played. So 120 BPM for the slower tracks that we heard, and 140 BPM for the faster tracks that we heard, which there wouldn't be like too much of a difference there, but it's noticeable. Legend of Yesterday basic percussion in C, 120 BPM. So this percussion would go perfectly with the D minor loops, but we're going to look at all of this stuff, and we're actually going to make our own song right now. I lied. I really want to look at the contents of the folders first. The pre-made songs does have the 10 songs, like I mentioned. The percussion folder has a bunch of subfolders. Why? And then a snare and something called timpani as kick in C. If we look at that, we see loops. This is actually more than a measure. This is a couple of measures here, a few, and it's about 16 seconds long. So it's really doing the work for you and covering a large amount of time for the song. And you hear that those are different, right? Those are different rhythms. So these are different rhythms that you can drag right into your project. Snare. All right. We'll get to the melody stuff now. So going to the top folder, we've got two options here. Let's go ahead and look at the D minor 120 BPM subfolders. We have bell, piano, and strings. We'll go ahead and go right into the piano. And then we see we have chords and melodies. And if you look at either of the other two instruments, actually, you'll see that they are separated by chords and melodies, which is super handy. So right into piano, then we'll take a look at the chords and we'll listen to Fairy. I see that they are actually named differently. This is really nice. One Cloud, a Fairy, a Faith, a Homecoming, Realization, Soul, Temple, and Yesterday. So they've got kind of moods attached to them. Let's listen to Fairy. And they won't be too intricate on their own because they are meant to be versatile and flexible so that you can use them in a variety of different kinds of songs. Homecoming. All right, and they're all 16 seconds long so that they layer exactly like bricks over one another. I will listen to the melodies. All right, we need to get into a program now and arrange this stuff, but just one more preview, this time of the strings. And so the melodies are actually the same across the instruments. So like Fairy in the strings chords folder is the same as Fairy in the piano chords folder. They're just different instruments. So that's really cool. That is really, really cool. All right, time to open up some software and get to layering. Okay, I'm actually using Premiere Pro, which is like the last software you should be using, but it's going to do the job because it can do multiple layers of audio tracks, and I'm pretty comfortable and familiar with how it works, so I'm good enough with this to just throw the tracks in and get something going right away. So first thing I'm going to do is navigate to the Legends of Yesterday D minor 120 BPM. I'm going to get those nice strings, and we're going to take the chords, and I'm going to take that Fairy chord and just drag it right onto my timeline, and there that is. We're going to expand that to make it easier to see, and then I'm just going to shrink it, scale it down, and I'm going to do that for, we'll do 4. 4, I can't really call them measures because there's multiple measures contained in each one, but 4 of this. I don't want to layer chords on top of chords. I want to layer melodies on top of chords. So we'll put a melody over this. I'm going to move all these down one track so it's visually a little bit more appealing. So we just put the Dream melody over the Fairy chord. We'll put Ephemeral over the next one. And then we'll put Ephemeral again over the middle one. And then we'll put Ember over the last one. And these should all theoretically sound perfect together because they're all written in the same key. We have these different melodies being played in D minor over chords that are being played in D minor. So they should fit actually perfectly together. We're going to go ahead and go up to the top folder where we will find again the percussion, and we'll dig back into those. Aza, please put the files after like one folder, unless this is really going to be expanded upon enough that all of these options lead into many subfolders. That would actually be so cool. Wow, don't give me errors. Don't give me errors, you fool. I will destroy you. Okay, so we're actually going to take and So it is making sense key and scale wise. And actually that particular collection sounded really good together. Oh. And I really like Ember in there, right on top of that. So Fairy and Ephemeral into Fairy Ember sounds great. The drums, I could actually lower the volume of them a bit, and that would feel pretty good, I think. So we're going to go less 6 decibels on those measures, and I'm only going to do these two because actually, I'll do this one too. Let's say it thinks it's keyframing. Don't do that. Then we are going to, we won't use Dream. We'll let this measure play by itself, and then we will go into these 3. I actually have the ability to raise the pitch in Premiere Pro, and I think I could do that. Just drag the pitch shifter right on there, and I want to raise it 12 semitones. So I think, is that a whole octave? Yes. It stays in key, it's just a whole octave higher. Yes! And then you can let the lower version of it play. You can raise that volume a little bit. There we go. Another 6 decibels. We will raise that 6, so our melody is louder than our chords. We're going to copy this block. And then I'm going to... That sounds so compressed and kind of synthetic, but I really like it, even though I pitch shifted it up a whole octave. Awesome, awesome. That didn't take me any time at all to do, and it was really, really rewarding. So that's it. I can take that song now, I can export it as something, I can have it play in the video, I can have it play in my RPG project. I just got to throw Azakaela's name out there, and I'm very happy to do so because this is really, really cool. I would love, oh my gosh, I would love to see many, many more loops and instruments added to this slowly but surely, because this is really, really nice. You have elements of customizability. You can make your own song using what's here. And if you are familiar enough with editing software, like I'm familiar with Premiere Pro, I don't have any musical editing software right now. But if I did, if you do, you can take and change the pitch of this stuff. You can change the BPM. You can do what I did and change the volume of the different sections of the song. You can have things be more stand out. You could take and basically manipulate this stuff however, up to your ability in your editing software, and create music that, even though other people have access to the exact same elements, you can make something really special that is truly your own. And that is worth sharing time and time again. So if this gets significant updates, I'm going to be sure to cover that. But I do want to actually get into the F minor now and check out what that comes with before we go. So Legends of Yesterday, F minor, 140 BPM, the Mix and Match soundtrack. This actually comes with bell, percussion, piano, and strings all together in the same folder. And this time, instead of just chords and melodies, we have arpeggios or arps included. So that is going to be interesting. Let's take a look at, let's do a bell. Whoa, we are lost in the folders. Arpeggio, falling F minor. What's this sound like? Awesome. And we'll just take another lovely F minor. We'll put it right after that. And then we'll go to chords. We won't do bell chords. We'll do piano chords. So piano chords, there's only 4 of them here. We'll do the rising in contrast to the falling. And then we'll do lovely. And then we will go to the percussion, and we'll just grab timpani and we'll put it in the second measure there. And we will also, we'll add one more track, and we'll put a snare, and the snare will be annoyed. I don't know what that's going to sound like at all. We'll put another timpani here before, just to have a little bit of layering before the snare kicks in. And we will play it from the get-go. And here's my original new track that I made in real time, and I didn't even have to. Oh, we're going to go ahead and reduce the amount of volume to the drums, because I know that taking 6 decibels off of that will work great. We'll paste those attributes, and then we will go ahead and add 6 decibels to the lead of the song. That's been working out really well so far. And again, you don't have to do that. This is just another element of originality. But here is you saw me put that song together. Here it is. I've made almost 30 seconds of an original piece for whatever I want. Awesome. So I've been thinking about just taking this back and arranging as much music as possible, and just completely dropping all of the other music that I use for the channel for various reasons that I'll talk about a little bit later in another video. When there's more added to this, I will strongly consider that, because I think that that's a very viable option. Even if there was a ton added to this and it was made to be paid, I would pay for this. So just a thought, as it is, free, you can't ask for more. So this exists. Go check it out. Go support Azakaela. We'll take a look at the Fiverr real quick, and we'll look at Azakaela's itch page. This actually has a lot of stuff on it besides the soundtrack that I just showed you. We've got Whisper Ridge, the survival horror ambience pack. We've got Voyage Eternal, pirate-themed music pack. 17 piratey orchestral loops for your video game. Oz's free music pack 2, The Wild West of Another World. That's a free soundtrack. Elemental Dungeons has 9 synthy loops for video games. Ooh Woo Wave has 10 cute loops, UI sounds, and sound effects. I'm too scared to check that out, actually. Hellkeeper, a free Castlevania-inspired music pack. Froggy's Adventure, a soundtrack inspired by Yoshi's Island. Answer Me, chill modern fantasy music. There's a lot here. There's a lot. Finally, I will put a link in the description below to Azakaela's Fiverr. So if you are looking for a musician to write one song or 10 tracks, an entire soundtrack, there are a variety of options to explore here. So please go check that out. All right, guys, that's it. I hope you found this educational. I hope that you make use of this music in some way. Perhaps this could be backing music to your tabletop role-playing game nights. Perhaps you can use this for content. I would actually love to make some songs just for my channel using the fantasy asset pack, as well as a lot of the other packs that are available on the itch. And that's it. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks again. Bye for now.